Hey everybody, welcome to eTrailer.com. I'm Bobby, and today we're taking a look at the Swagman Current 2 bike platform rack for electric bikes here on our 2020 Leisure Travel Wonder. Now this can be an excellent way of getting your big heavy e-bikes to your destination. Now it is specifically crafted for your big heavy e-bikes with a 60-pound capacity. I don't think we're going to have any trouble at all getting those big bikes with us today. Taking a look at it as well, you are getting those nice electric green contact points, letting us know exactly where we need to go to start manipulating our rack. Now right out of the gate, you are going to have frame contact. So yes, it's going to be great for those electric bikes. However, not so great for your carbon frame bikes, as this downwards pressure will end up warping and deteriorating that carbon frame. So unfortunately today, that is going to be a slight little issue for us. Now a lot of times with your frame bikes, you might have a little bit of issues with irregularities in your horizontal frame contact. However, as you can see how long this track actually goes, I don't think we're going to have any issue at all hosting a variety of different bikes on here, no matter what that horizontal point is. So I think we are going to do a good job of ratcheting down on them. Even if they are even lower, you can just go ahead and transpose those arms. Talking about the arms though, of course they are ratcheting, won't be popping up unless we press in that lever, and you will see it does have two little lock cores on each of those arms, so that way we can go ahead and secure our bike to our carrier when we leave it unattended. Now the Current does have a cool couple little features with it as well. One thing that's awesome about it, if you do have this on a vehicle as well, it does have a tilting capability. Just to give you an idea of how to do so, this little electric green lever here in the back can be pulled, and that can simply bring this entirely out. Now, not going to be too much use here today on our Wonders. We don't have too much access, but if you do have any other vehicles in the family, don't be hesitant to throw this guy on there. It is going to do a great job for you as well. And of course, it is rated for the big motorhomes. We are a little bit further from that rear axle. Now, the Wonder is not the worst thing I've ever seen, but this is going to be nice and constructed for ourselves. It's going to be holding up quite well for us. Well, to get the bike off isn't going to take any time at all. I just simply want to come to our ratcheting arm system, pressing in our levers. I like to just go ahead and take the arms off all the way. And before we do so, we want to go ahead and remove our plastic strips here at the very end. One thing I like about these guys as well, very, very long, as you can see. So they are actually pretty well suited for your fat bike tires. And talking about that as well, you are seeing these massive cradles here on the end. They have that nice 18C standard groove, of course, but widening out for your longer tires. I think we're close to about 5 inches. Yeah, about 5.5 inches there on that maximum width. So definitely going to have no problem at all getting those fat bike tires and even those smaller ones. And of course, one great little thing about this as well, guys, they do have these adjustable hand knobs here. Makes it very easy to loosen these guys and bring them wherever we need to on this cradle length. So great little aspect there. Can get a variety of bikes on there as well. Even if they are shorter or longer, going to have no trouble at all accommodating them. So we can go ahead and just pop off that last strip. And that does bring us to our last point of contact here on our bike. So I want to make sure that we are supporting it. Don't want that tilting into our Wonder or ourselves, causing any kind of damage. I just simply want to press in on that arm, get it out of the way. And now I can go ahead and start making my dismount. Now, you know, if you got 60-pound bikes, want to make sure we're getting in underneath them. So nice that we can step close and get these guys out of our way. Now, mounting it's pretty easy as well. I like to keep the arms off and then just simply bring them right over the top once I have it in place. As you can see, very easy to replace these guys. Just simply going to line up that ratcheting arm track and bring it right down into position where we need it. So quick little solution for ourselves to make sure we can go ahead and make sure we're nice and secure. Now we can go ahead and drop this mast down as well. And that can save us a ton of space here on the back of us. Now it can be helpful to get these guys in the right position and then to bring them in. And of course, you can always adjust your cradles as well, bringing them in if you really want to reduce that side-to-side length that you might experience here on the back of our Wonder. Now talking about dimensions, we are adding a little bit of length to the back of our vehicle. But before we do shorten it up, I want to go ahead and give us a clearance look here. From the ground to the very end of our carrier here is putting us right under 2 feet there, so about 1/8 or so underneath it, so about 23 7/8 to the end of that carrier. And a pretty good point here too, we are getting a nice little rise in our carrier. We're not too far from that rear axle, but just keep in mind, as those front wheels go up, the back will go down. So it's definitely something just to keep in consideration if you have any steep driveways approaching or any kind of terrain. Now with any hitch mounted accessory though, we are adding a little bit of length to our vehicle. Now the Wonder, not already the shortest vehicle out there. Let's go ahead and see exactly what we're dealing with here. From the rear of the bumper to the very end of our cradle is putting us right at, looks to be about 25.5 inches there from the end of that cradle. So not the worst we've seen from a 2-bike platform rack. In fact, it actually sits quite nice and close to the Wonder, so that's one little nice feature about it. And we do have a way of quickly shortening that down. We're going to come right back to that lever that we were at in the beginning of the video, pop him like so, and bring him up into position. As you guys are going to see, we are going to get pretty close here on the back of our travel van. However, not going to be making any kind of contact today. One thing that can really help to make sure that cradle isn't going anywhere is just to tighten these guys down. That way we're having a lot of that vibration taken out of it. But as you guys can see, no contact, which is great. And we've shortened down a ton of that length from the back here to the very end of our post here is putting us at 14 1/4 inches there. So about half of that space has been shaved down. Now we're sitting nice and tight to the back of the Wonder. Gonna have no trouble at all getting this in those tight parking places at our destination. Moving right to the inside though, as you guys can see, we do have 1.25 inch shank on here today, guys, but we also do have a 2-inch converter allowing us to utilize our 2-inch receiver here today on the back of our Wonder. On the inside too, you are seeing a threaded anti-rattle hitch bolt there. Now what that guy does, brings us all in line to one system, takes away a lot of that play. So as you guys can see, as I shake this entire carrier, it's actually shaking the entire Wonder, which means we're bringing this all in line to one system, making for a nicer, smoother ride for ourselves, our bike rack, but especially our bikes. Now one thing I do want to point out here today with the Current though, it does come with a locking core that is keyed-like to that ratcheting arm system locking core we broke down. However, our little fascia here today, this plastic is kind of preventing us from getting this on here in a nice manner. Now you could go ahead and kind of push and pry this guy. We didn't want to do that here today just in case of any kind of damage, but as you guys can see, you're going to be really limited of getting that big bulky locking core on here, so that is kind of a big disadvantage here today on our Wonder. But keep in mind, you know, it is going to be making itself work, so we have to work with what we got. Well, again, guys, the Current, of course, is looking good. I like that we're getting that 60-pound capacity, allowing us to use those big, heavy e-bikes. Of course, too, this guy does get that nice color-coded if your e-bike is looking exactly like ours. And I do just like it because it lets us know exactly where we are and how we want to start manipulating our rack. Well, I think that about does it for our look at the Swagman Current here on our 2020 Leisure Travel Van Wonder. I'm Bobby. Thank you for watching.
Here on our test course, we'll start by going through the slalom. This is going to show us the side-to-side action. This simulates turning corners or evasively maneuvering. Once we get to the alternating speed bumps, we'll see the twisting action. This will simulate hitting a curb or pothole or driving over uneven pavement. Once we get to the full speed bumps, we'll see the up and down action. This will be just like driving in and out of a parking lot, parking garage, or driveway.